Good morning, I'm Fauziah Ibrahim with the top stories on ABC News. The war in the Middle East has spread to other areas after the US and Britain, backed by Australia, bombed more than a dozen sites in Yemen targeting Houthi rebels. Russia, Turkey and Iran, the key backers of the Houthis, have condemned the airstrikes, which killed 5 rebels and injured another 6. The strikes were carried out in response to the rebel group's increased attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. The Houthis support Hamas in the Israel-Gaza war and since the start of the latest conflict declared they would target any ship travelling to Israel. The rebel group warns the strikes will not go unpunished. Britain's Prime Minister has defended the move, arguing the bombings were necessary and proportionate.
We've carried out a series of strikes together with allies which will, we believe, degrade and disrupt the capability. The types of things that we've targeted are launch sites for missiles and for drones. Initial indications are that those strikes have been successful. We'll continue to monitor the situation, but it's clear that this type of behaviour can't be met without a response. We need to send a strong signal that this breach of international law is wrong.
Israel has called on the UN's top court to reject the case launched by South Africa, accusing it of genocide. At the International Court of Justice, South Africa has claimed the highest levels of the Israeli state plan to destroy the enclave. But in its opening statements, Israel has argued South Africa has presented a grossly distorted story of the situation.
That if there have been acts that may be characterized as genocidal, then they have been perpetrated against Israel. If there is a concern about the obligations of states under the Genocide Convention, then it is in relation to their responsibilities to act against Hamas's proudly declared agenda of annihilation.
The death toll from riots in Papua New Guinea's capital Port Moresby has risen to 22. The bodies of 6 people were found in burnt-out shops, which were destroyed in violence and looting on Wednesday, triggered by a pay dispute. A state of emergency remains in place. Extra police and military personnel have been called in from around the country to maintain order.
We have over 1,000 men from Defence Force ready on standby to come in and work under state of emergency laws within the next 14 days to step in wherever necessary to contain any situations that may arise going forward into the future.
Taiwan is heading to the polls today to elect a new president and parliament. The election is set against the backdrop of increasing aggression from China, which claims the self-governed island as its own. The main opposition party is portraying the election as a vote between war and peace, while a new third party is appealing to a fresh generation of voters. The uniting theme among the parties is a desire to protect Taiwan's democratic system.
We felt the importance of democracy, especially going through a long period of martial law. It made Taiwanese people realise that elections and voting can indeed bring about change. So from that time onward, voting for us became a way to directly participate in government or democratic affairs.
The Bureau of Meteorology is forecasting weather conditions to worsen in far north Queensland over the weekend as a monsoon trough continues to develop over the region. An earlier severe weather warning between Wujal and Port Douglas has been cancelled, but the Bureau warns there's a chance heavy rain could develop again in the North Tropical Coast. To sport now, in tennis, Australia will have 15 men competing in the singles draw from tomorrow, the most since 1998, after 3 players won in the final round of qualifying at Melbourne Park. 7 years after his first Grand Slam appearance, Omar Jasinka's back, joining 22-year-old Dane Sweeney and Storm Hunter in the main draw. In Hobart, Darius Saville's run has come to an end in the semi-final, losing to Belgium's Elise Martens, but not without pushing the top seed. The 29-year-old fought back from a set down to win the second set, falling just short 6-4, 4-6, 7-5.
It's wide, and the second set goes the way of the Australian. Astonishing. We're going the distance. An hour and 50 on the clock. Darius Saville fully deserves that.
Those are the latest stories from ABC News.
Your positions on climate change. There was an inevitable backlash.
You might pander to a loud minority